Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Viva Film podcast, the only podcast that does multi-part episodes about every Star Trek film ever made. Actually, that's not true. I'm sure that there are plenty others. My name, it's still Anthony, and today I am joined by my number one, my second in command, Caleb. Caleb, how you doing this week?
I'm hanging in there. I did shave for this.
You shaved?
So you don't get to enjoy it. Yeah, I shaved
not talking about the face, are we, huh? Like,
oh my goodness gracious. I'm not going to answer that question. You'll have to subscribe to our Patreon to find out what I'm shaving.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's been since we did the last episode and we did the which I think is one of our best episodes. I think it was a silly time, and I'm sure this week will be no different.
Yeah, last week's episode was a lot of fun.
I've been dealing with a lot of annoying shit at work, which I absolutely love. And yeah, so I'm just excited to be playing, because again, I had a terrible day at work yesterday with how fucked over I got, and then that wasn't even the worst part of my day because I watched Star Trek Nemesis.
Yeah, Star Trek Nemesis, man. What my nemesis is the Star Trek movies we're talking about today. But I mean, besides Star Trek though, Caleb, I mean, how else have you been? Have you seen anything good lately? Are you reading anything? Are you listening to anything? There's got to be something positive, right?
I watched After the Hunt, so no. No sorry. No offense, Luca. But no, I've been, what have I been, I listened to Lily Allen's album about how David Harbour sucks.
Yeah. Lily Allen's new album, which has been quite, it's been quite the talk of the town, some may say.
Yeah, it's fucking great. It's a great record. I really dug it. I thought it was great. I think the music's really cool. Mm-hmm. I think it's very poignant. I think it's very emotional. It's good. She's extremely talented. I wasn't super familiar with her music before listening to this.
Right.
But yeah, I really like that again. And it's always important to remember that no matter what assumptions you might make about celebrities who you don't know personally, it's important to remember that you don't know them. So what you're seeing is a public idea and perception in your mind. You don't know them personally. So always take that into account.
Yeah, especially in the age of social media, we have so much of this kind of parasocial relationship with people, and people become very defensive of celebrities they like, and it's they're people, and people are not perfect, and they make mistakes.
Yeah,
and some mistakes are worse than others.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. What else did I watch this week? I've been watching, obviously the season of Smiling Friends has been amazing.
Yeah.
Super strong, really funny, creative. I've been watching I Love LA, which I know has been divisive, which we were talking about before we started recording. I think Rachel Sennett is really talented and hilarious, so I've been really enjoying the show a lot. And then Josh Hutcherson is incredible. He's getting a real second wind in his career right now.
Is he in the show?
Yeah, he's her boyfriend.
Oh, I had no idea that he was in the TV show. That's cool.
It was a very last minute thing too. He got cast it was supposed to be somebody else, and they brought him in really quickly. So that's been really good. I haven't watched the most recent episode of Pluribus, but that show's been fucking phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I know I watched an actual good movie. Did I watch it? Oh, I rewatched Frankenstein.
Oh, the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, people have had very normal reactions and opinions to that movie. It's been totally not weird on Twitter or TikTok with people talking about that film.
Yeah, I don't know why people can't just be normal about movies.
Normal people don't exist anymore, Caleb.
Oh, you're right. I've read about
that. No, there's no more normal people. So
wait, but those American Horror Story shirts that they used to sell 14 years ago that said "Normal people scare me." Those just don't. Those are irrelevant now. You're telling me?
The funny thing about that is that American Horror Story is the most normie fucking show.
Yeah,
it's just it's the show that your friend who doesn't like horror movies watches, you know. And yeah, and I haven't seen the new season of Monster, the Ed Gein story, which I know Ryan Murphy was involved with. But yeah, I'm not a Ryan Murphy fan, and I'll just leave it at that because because we have enough negativity coming up on this episode. We don't need any more. So
we even get cameos from old enemies on the podcast.
Yes, we do. I don't know if we want to. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what we talk about when we get there.
Yeah, but it's an adventure for sure. We've been watching Deep Space Nine still, which I think is incredible.
Yeah, I've been watching it as well. How far along are you?
I'm like halfway through not halfway. I'm about a third through season 3. I've been a little slower with watching it recently.
Yeah,
just because I've been busy. But I watched part 1 of the 2-parter where they're in San Francisco in like 2024.
Yes, yeah, I love that. I love that episode. The God, I'm forgetting the name of the episode, but yeah, it's where the Bell riots came from.
Yeah, which that is really good. It's also funny because again, it's one of those like, how can you watch that and think that Star Trek isn't political?
You know, it's one of those great mysteries of like how people watch Star Trek and don't understand that there's a political message going on. that the people who make this show like have a clear bent, you know, when it comes to their political ideology. So
yeah, it's also funny because like you look at the Star Trek shows, and I haven't seen Voyager or Enterprise yet, but like you look at the first couple shows, and like the original Star Trek, you know, the average episode is kind of Kirk being like, Bones, you got to solve this problem while I kiss a woman. And then in Next Generation, it's a lot of, you know, like Picard kind of going, oh, you know, Data, I think you're the most human of us all. And then the average episode of Deep Space Nine is like, how many innocents did you kill? Admit it. It's like, it's great. I love Deep Space Nine. I think it's so relevant still. Like the episode where Kira is talking to the Cardassian who is responsible for like a lot of innocent people dying. That one, and then the Bell Riots one. Like there's just so much like insanely relevant stuff when talking about like genocide, or like how, you know, people who are less well off are treated and stuff like that. It's very relevant. And I think it was also this thing that was like where it feels very radical, because it's like it's taking Star Trek, which has always been political and always had something to say, and taking it and going, okay, we're going to talk about, like, we're going to be a little less subtle, and we're going to really just like hammer home like these ideas in a way that is still entertaining. It's still a show, it's still a story, but it's also like, it is about real fucking shit. These two movies today do not do that. I want to clarify that. But no, Deep Space Nine is an incredible TV series. And like, I know you were saying this when you started watching it to me before I got back into it and we started like doing all the Star Trek episodes. But I remember you saying that you feel like you'll eventually like it more than Next Generation. I don't know if you feel that way now, but like for me, I definitely can see myself liking that, because I think Deep Space Nine is so consistent immediately. Like I immediately love the characters, or for the most part, and immediately love, like, you know, they have so many great bangers, great episodes, and then it's just like, yeah, with Next Generation, you know, even though the characters are great, the acting is good, it took a couple seasons for them to get consistent, because those first 2 seasons had a lot of problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the first 2 seasons of TNG are pretty rough, and I feel like DS9 really found its footing like pretty quickly. And it just gets better. I'm almost done with season 3, and I know that season 4 and 5 are supposed to be like really like peak of the series. I think the cool thing about DS9 is, you know, when it first came out, it was not well received. A lot of people didn't like it, and a lot of people wrote it off right away. But I think because the storylines that they talked about were so like, you know, politically conscious, that it's one of those shows that's kind of like really stayed the test of time. It's really stood the test of time. And I think that's why you have right now like a lot of younger Star Trek fans, like, you know, millennials or Gen Z, who really like DS9 and who really you know, gravitate towards the storytelling and the like the aesthetic and the tone of it. And yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic show. I really love it, and it'd be cool to like do like a DS9 podcast, but I feel like we just do movies right now. But you know, doing like a TV show centered podcast would certainly take up a lot of time. So
Oh yeah, that'd be insanely time consuming. I know because it hasn't been released yet, but I watched all of and recorded an hour and a half long solo podcast about the first season of Dexter.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to like whenever that comes out. I hope that that's something that you put out there, man.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out the details for my solo thing, because I want to do it, but it's just like figuring out what it is, because at one point it was going to be like a YouTube channel where I make 4 videos a week. I do not have time for that.
Yeah,
like
4 videos a week is a lot, I think, because there's a lot of work that goes into stuff into making this.
Yeah,
to quote the film Bodies, 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 like it's really hard being a podcaster.
Yeah, no, exactly.
We're bringing it back around to Rachel Sennott, everyone. She's the key to all of this, really.
Exactly.
But yes, this week, going from DS9 now to the TNG films. Caleb, this week, we're talking about the final 2 TNG films. And I guess my question for you really is kind of like, we got here. What are the TNG films like mean to you? Like what do they represent to you now that we've finished them?
Jack shit.
There's absolutely nothing here for you.
Like not really. Like because it's like they're ideas, and they're like because the problem with these movies is like the more interesting stuff is like the ideas they had, like as alternatives. Like for Insurrection, Jonathan Frakes was really pushing for Q to be like the main antagonist, and it'd be a completely different story, but like he was really pushing for it to be like a Q-centric story, which I think could have been really cool. That unfortunately didn't happen. Quark was supposed to be in Insurrection. They filmed scenes and he got cut out of, and like that's more interesting to me, like it as opposed to what we got, which these are just very like surface level uninteresting movies. Like First Contact is the best of these, and even then I'm not even a huge fan of that, really. As you know, we gave our thoughts on it last week, but like with Insurrection, I find Insurrection to be very plotting, very. And I'm gonna say something really weird because we're talking about Star Trek, but it's very dorky.
Okay.
In like a way that like if like someone saw me watching it, I'd be embarrassed. And like it's not even that terrible, but it's just kind of like whatever. And then Nemesis is a fucking like horrendous movie. Like it is bad. And the fact that this came out the same year as Attack of the Clones is incredibly depressing. Like imagine seeing both of those in theaters in a year. That's just.
I remember because Star Trek Insurrection came out so recently, like 2002 is not that long ago. I remember like being in movie theaters and like seeing ads for it, like seeing trailers, and I remember seeing like big cardboard standees for it and posters for it. So I do remember like Star Trek Nemesis when it came out. I didn't see it. This was my first time seeing the film this week. But yeah, it's crazy to think like 2002, like another film that came out that year was Spider-Man.
That was a great movie.
Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Yeah. And I'm sure if I looked it up, there's probably like a lot of other really great films that came out in 2002 that we just don't know anything about.
Yeah. Also the year that the WWF became WWE. That's fun.
Yeah. That's also a very important part of this whole story.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with movies.
There was we know that William Shatner is in the Hall of Fame. Are there any TNG actors who are in the WWE Hall of Fame?
No, not to my no, they're not, unfortunately. And I think it's mostly just because like I don't think that Vince McMahon knows what Star Trek The Next Generation is. I think he knows what Star Trek is, and has probably never seen it. But like TNG, Deep Space Nine, he doesn't know that. He didn't know what a burrito was until someone told him what it was after he'd been eating one every day for a year.
That's a real story?
Yeah, he thought they were just meat wraps.
He called them meat wraps?
Yeah.
Give me a meat wrap from Taco Bell.
Yeah, I hate Vince so much. I just want to put that out there. Like, I think he's a dumb piece of shit.
Okay.
Like, let's just put that out there for this podcast about Star Trek.
That's good. We definitely need to have that out there.
Yeah. That's what you come here for.
Yeah, fuck Vince McMahon. All my homies hate Vince McMahon. But yeah, Star Trek, we're starting off strong with Star Trek Insurrection, which was, of course, directed by Jonathan Frakes, written by Michael Piller, story by Rick Berman, based on Star Trek, created by Gene Roddenberry, cinematography by Matthew F. Leonetti, edited by Peter E. Berger, starring Patrick Stewart, Jonathan Frakes, Brent Spiner, LeVar Burton, Michael Dorn, Gates McFadden, Marina Sirtis, F. Murray Abram, Donna Murphy, Anthony Zerbe, Greg Henry, Daniel Hugh Kelly, Michael Welch, Mark Deakins, Stephanie Niznik, and Michael Horton. And the synopsis is that the Picard and the crew, they're up to no good in the neighborhood, and they gotta save this group of villagers, I guess. Yeah,
that's basically it. It is funny because we get some interesting. There are a couple actors in this movie that I think it's fun that they're here. Donna Murphy, who's Picard's love interest. Mm-hmm. She's Doc Ock's wife from Spider-Man 2.
I knew I recognized her from somewhere.
Yeah, and then Greg Henry, who he's kind of the second big bad. Mm-hmm. He's a James Gunn's friend. He's like Star-Lord's grandpa.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And he's also in Slither as well, which is a fucking really underrated movie.
It is really underrated film. I think we should talk about that at some point. We also have F. Murray Abram, who won an Oscar for Amadeus. Yeah. Oscar winner F. Murray Abram, and he's wearing some weird prosthetic makeup, makes him look like I don't know, like a disgusting meat sack or something.
Yeah. So Anthony, F. Murray Abram is a very good actor.
Yes.
Normally. In this movie, I don't know if he didn't like doing it, if he didn't like the prosthetics, what happened, if it was direction, if our buddy John Frakes couldn't get it out of him. He is terrible in this movie, unfortunately.
Really? You don't like his performance in this?
No, especially his screaming was like, and I love a good scream in a movie. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, but I was not a fan of his performance here, unfortunately.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily thought it was bad, but definitely, like, thinking back to it, I don't know if it really like had any kind of impact on me, really. And it's kind of funny because, like, in Amadeus, he played Antonio Salieri, who is this fantastic character who's, like, just filled with jealousy for Amadeus and his talent. And I felt like, maybe that's something that he could have, like, channeled here, is like his jealousy or his, like, resentment towards his parents. That's the big spoiler, is that the weird aliens who are trying to, like, steal this plot of land are the kids of the people who live there, of the villagers. And yeah, it doesn't come across very well. In my opinion, I think his performance, and I think generally a lot of the performances in this film are just kind of weak. They're not super memorable in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that problem where, like, it's a shame because I think that in First Contact, like, Frakes was doing a great job with directing, and in this movie, I don't know if it's, I don't want to put the blame on him at all, but, like, I think that there was definitely some issues. Like, the performances were coming off a little weird. Brent Spiner comes off a little stiff, which I know that might sound silly because he's playing an android, but, like, and again, Brent Spiner's amazing. Love Data. He's coming off a little weird. Patrick Stewart is starting to get into this. And it starts here, and it really, in Nemesis, holy shit. But, like, here, it's like he's starting to kind of not be as into it, it feels like to me, personally. Like, I think the best performance in this movie is probably Donna Murphy. And not that she's, like, that great of a character, but, like, I think that you believe her when she says stuff. Like, I think there's something there. I wish this could have been like, and it's such a bummer because it's a pretty short movie. It's like an hour and 38.
I believe it's the shortest of the TNG films, and it may be the shortest of any of the Star Trek films. I would have to go back and look at that, but it's definitely on the shorter side. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just really like one of those things where it's unfortunate because it feels like nothing gets expanded upon. Like, and this is a problem in all the TNG movies, and especially these last two, is like character arcs will like start, and you might get some lines of dialogue, but then they just kind of don't happen. So like Worf in this movie, because the planet they're on is like basically the Fountain of Youth or whatever, and it like kind of like changes you so it makes you look more youthful. Mm-hmm. So Worf starts going through like Klingon puberty, and you just kind of get like a couple jokes where he's like, oh, he has a pimple, and he's like, oh, I want to eat the blood of the live Kelvar beast, you know, and it isn't that wacky. And like his hair starts growing really long on his head, and it's just this thing where there's nothing there. Like, and in these and there's also Worf being in this movie is hilarious because when he shows up, because he's on Deep Space DS9 by this point, so when he shows up, Picard goes, Mr. Worf, what the hell are you doing here? And it's like, yo, what is he doing here?
Yeah, they keep bringing Worf back, and I understand why, because he's a very popular character and he was on the TNG TV show. But I mean, another character that we've talked about a couple times that like would be great in these movies, or maybe not great because the movies aren't that good, but like somebody like Colm Meaney as O'Brien. Like, how come he doesn't like just decide to show up? You know, like it's just I feel like. Yeah, I feel like Worf's not needed. Like he's on DS9, you know. Yeah. He's having adventures with Cisco and Kira, you know.
Yeah, and it's just kind of it's one of those things where it's like, and plus they don't have anything for him, so it's like if you don't have anything for him to do, why waste Michael Dorn's time putting that makeup on for fucking hours every day?
Well, I'm sure it came with a really nice paycheck, so. But yeah, kind of going back to what you said about like the lack of character arcs. This is something that I noticed while watching these movies, is that the characters in the TNG films, they don't really feel like they're changing. Yeah. You know, and you kind of compare that to the TOS films, which are all about change. You know, like especially with movies like Wrath of Khan or Undiscovered Country, where so much of what the movie is about seeing these characters change over time and react to the situations that they're in, and kind of like re-examining their own, you know, place in this universe. And then to kind of go from the TOS films to the TNG films, where the characters feel like really stagnant. You know, yeah. It feels like they're not really going anywhere. And, you know, that may, you know, a part of that may be because with like the TOS films, there was like more than a decade of gap between the TOS television series and then the movies themselves. Yeah, so obviously, like, if you have 10 years, like, you have to acknowledge that there's that change, that there's that, you know, that there's going to be differences. And, you know, with the TNG films, like, they went into production immediately. Like, as soon as they wrapped season 7, I think it was like a month later, they started shooting Generations. Yeah. And I think because of that, like, they don't, it feels like they're scared to, like, really kind of push these characters into, you know, new and interesting kind of directions, and to really challenge like our preconceived notions of them. And like, I think I mentioned this to you before we started recording, but like, these movies, they don't feel like they're feature films, like they're continuations of the adventures. They just feel like another season of the TV show. It feels like it's just season 8 of The Next Generation. And maybe for some fans, that's what they want. They just want, you know, the continuing adventures of the USS Enterprise. But like, I want there to be something new, you know? You know, one of the aspects about one of the major differences between television and film is that television is generally about maintaining like a certain status quo, or maintaining like kind of the world that we know, right? Mm-hmm, like every episode of a TV show will end with them going back to like, well, we learned our lesson and now we're here, you know, back where we started or whatever. And with film, it's actually very different. It's the opposite, where things change. Things are, you know, characters come out the other end completely different, right? It's the whole thing about having like a character arc. And I feel like they were writing these movies like TV shows, and for me, it kind of makes it feel kind of boring. You know, I want there to be change. I want there to be some kind of you know, arc. And then we have characters like Beverly Crusher, who just like do nothing, or like LaForge, who is just kind of there. Like his whole storyline is in Insurrection is that his eyes aren't like cybernetic anymore.
Yeah, and so I will say this in defense of that is, and Jordy gets nothing to do in these movies. Like as far as like genuinely arcs, getting to do stuff, he's just having LeVar Burton on set, and sometimes he goes, oh gee, I'm worried about Data, which, to be fair, that's a lot of episodes of TNG also, but
sure,
like but there's this moment in Insurrection, it's the best moment in the entire movie, and it's really beautiful, is when Jordy realizes that like he doesn't need his lenses anymore, and he's like talking about how he wants to like see the sunset for the first time, and he's kind of like looking, and LeVar Burton is giving this beautiful performance where he's like starting to like cry, and it's gorgeous, and it's like they let him like, and it's so crazy because like one of LeVar Burton's biggest issues with playing Jordy was always that he didn't like the visor. Yeah, in the movies he doesn't have the visor, he loses it in Generations, and giving him that moment where like after like, you know, like he'd been doing this for like 10 years at this point or something like that finally like getting that moment where it's like just the entire shot is basically just his face. And he's just emotional. It's great. It's an incredible scene, but it's in an incredibly forgettable movie.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. I just wish that there was like, I don't know, more, because we get that scene, and then and like you said, it is great, but then like after that we kind of just go back to like Picard and Data, you know. So
yeah. Which is all they're interested in these movies.
Which is all they're interested in these movies, absolutely. And you know, some people may say, well, you know, guys, like the TOS films were the same way. Like the TOS films was just like Kirk, Bones, and Spock. And yes, you are correct. They did concentrate mostly on Kirk, Bones, and Spock. However, I will point out that if you watch the original series, that's kind of what the show was as well. The show was the Kirk, Bones, and Spock show. That's not what TNG is. TNG is very much an ensemble show. It is about everyone. Every character gets their own episode, like 1 or 2 episodes a season, maybe even like 3 or 4, that concentrate solely on them. Like you have people who are huge Geordi LaForge fans. You have people, you know, like myself, who really like Beverly Crusher. And watching these films, it's kind of like, well, what do they do? They're just here because they have to be, you know. You write in all these weird ways that, you know, you know, Worf shows up and then you don't really do anything with him, you know. Like what's Alexander up to? You could probably do like a whole thing with Worf and Alexander, you know, like, oh damn, I have a son that I don't like. Like, yeah. I don't know. It just, yeah, it feels very, these TNG films feel like they are underutilizing a lot of stuff, I think.
Yeah, well, first of all, I completely agree with everything you just said. Second of all, whenever you said that Worf has a son he doesn't like, it just made me realize that one of these movies they should have made, you know, kind of about like the dynamic between the Worf and Alexander. From like Alexander's perspective, he feels like he's not understood by his dad. You know, his dad is very like, oh, why can't you just be a normal Klingon? Why can't you just have honor? You know, or whatever. And, you know, maybe there's like a scene where Alexander, you know, jumps out of like a shuttle and breaks his arm. They have a lot of arguments. There's a scene where Alexander says, you know, do you like me? He's like, well, I love you. It's like, what, but do you like me? And we call it Lady Bird of Prey.
That's wonderful, Caleb. I'm green lighting this immediately. We are going to make Lady Bird of Prey.
I hope you know, like, I feel like you'll see in the recording is like, you can see me like thinking of that joke in my head. And realizing it's so stupid and funny, but yeah, I think that's exactly the direction we need to call it Michael Dorn immediately.
If the door to my room here was open, you would see my Ladybird poster in the hallway that's hanging there.
Yeah, great movie. Also,
it is a fantastic film. So Insurrection. I have some notes here, Caleb. I actually did research for this episode.
Oh, lovely.
I have right next to me. Hold on a second. The Star Trek Next Generation Companion.
Oh my God.
I bought this months ago when I was still watching TNG, and it's a fantastic book. It has like, stuff all about, about every episode they talk about in this book. And funny enough, I just opened it and there's a picture of Dr. Leia Brahms, who we'll talk about in a few minutes. But anyways, I did some research and I found out some things about Insurrection. Did you know that Brent Spiner wanted Data to die in this movie?
I think I've heard that because he was getting he was getting ready to not want to do that anymore. So that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like doing the makeup, and also for like the underwater scene, which I sent you a picture of, where Data's like petting the fish.
Yeah.
For that scene, they had to like do multiple layers of makeup so that it would be waterproof.
Oh my God.
And I can just imagine just like doing that just would have been like fucking torturous. But yeah, he was genuinely worried about like aging out of the role, and he thought like, hey, you guys should kill me off. And then when he got his script, there was a note that said, sorry, we'll kill you later. So he did not get killed in this.
I wonder who wrote that note, and if his name rhymed with Dick Merman.
Dick Merman. That reminds me of something for the next movie that we'll talk about when we get there.
Yeah.
And so this one's pretty interesting. Originally in the earlier versions of the script, the Romulans were supposed to be the big bad, not the weird saggy skin people.
Yeah. That's cool. I like the Romulans.
I like the Romulans too, and I feel like they're they are very underutilized in the Star Trek films, like in general. I feel like the TOS films we just saw like was all Klingons. Yeah. And then of course we got the Borg and the TNG films, but like not a lot of Romulans up until the next movie. But even in Nemesis, like they're not the big bad. They're kind of like ancillary characters.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because like we don't get the Cardassians like at all in any of the movies.
That may have been maybe a creative decision, and if somebody knows, you can leave a comment below or something. But like that may have been something that they wanted to keep the Cardassians for DS9, like they were like the main, antagonist there. And then of course we kind of mentioned it, but there was obviously some cut scenes from Insurrection. One of them featuring my handwriting is illegible. Max Grodenchik, who played Rom in DS9.
Yeah,
he was going to be in this film playing a Trill Ensign. So he was going to be a Trill. Yeah,
that's cool.
It is cool. And then, of course, Armin Shimmerman was going to have a cameo in here playing Quark.
Yeah, I'll never forgive them for cutting that.
We were talking before this about like the Quark centered episodes of DS9, and we were talking about the House of Quark and how we both really love that episode.
Oh yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, do you think Quark would have fit in here? I mean, how do you feel about like trying to kind of work in the other Star Trek TV series into the TNG films? Because I know in the previous movie, First Contact, we do get to see the Doctor from Voyager. He pops up very briefly when they're escaping. How do you feel about like them trying to work in like Quark from DS9 and other characters?
I mean, it's one of those things where like, look, like my thing is at the end of the day, you got to tell like a good story. Like first and foremost, like don't worry about fan service, anything like that. It's great that you want to service fans, but it can't be the only thing you're doing. So like, for example, as much as like the idea of this being a revolving door where it's like, oh, look, it's Bashir and here's Jax and here's Kira and here's Quark and Cisco and,
and then
O'Brien.
In the next film, we see Janeway briefly.
Yes, we do. Yeah, and like, and as much as that, like, and I think that's very natural. I think that works really well. It's one of the two good elements of Nemesis. But it's one of those where, like, I want to see the Deep Space Nine crew in general, just more of them because I love them.
Yeah, but
it's like, also, if it doesn't fit and you're forcing it, you don't want to do that, because then that's just not good. That's not how you like tell good stories. You know, it would have been cool. I know that, like, you know, if these films hadn't got, if the reaction of Nemesis wasn't so poor, they wanted to do more Star Trek movies before they rebooted it. They wanted to do a movie that was going to be with the Deep Space Nine and Voyager crews. That
would have been so fucking cool. I would have loved that, genuinely.
Yeah. And, you know, unfortunately, I think that's why Janeway's in Nemesis, is to kind of be like, oh, look, she'll be in the next one.
Janeway will return. And
yeah, and it's and as a side note, Kate Mulgrew, who plays Janeway, and I'm not super familiar with Janeway. I haven't watched Voyager yet. She's a wonderful actor.
She's like, great.
She's in Orange Is the New Black, which I know that show falls off the fucking rails and gets bad, but like when that show was good, she is one of the best characters in it. Like her performance is amazing in that show. And yeah, just in general though, you know, it's like I would have liked to have seen more of them. You know, it just makes me sad that they filmed the Quark scene. It's not in the movie. Like I want to see him.
Yeah, we want to see our buddy Quark.
Yeah, and as a side note, is one thing that I do like about the TV shows that's so cool is like when they did Next Generation and they're like, okay, well the Klingons were a huge antagonist in the original series, so let's have a Klingon in the crew in Next Generation. That's fucking cool. Next Generation, the Ferengi are a pretty recurring antagonist. So then whenever you do Deep Space Nine, it's like, well, let's have like a Ferengi as one of our main characters. And they kind of stopped doing that. Like we don't get like, you know, there's no Cardassian crew member in Voyager because they're all assholes. But
well, except for that one Cardassian who had the hots for O'Brien.
Oh,
I don't know if you've gotten to that episode.
Have I gotten to that episode? I don't think I've seen that.
You would have remembered it. You would have remembered it. Yeah. It's like the only Cardassian I like.
Yeah, and then there's the shopkeep, the tailor guy, where it's like, ooh, am I a spy? Am I not? Love that performance.
Yeah, he's a fantastic character. Absolutely.
I love him. But this is a side note though. You know, last week we were talking about how, like, you know, I really love Deep Space Nine. I've been watching Succession, and how I think Jeremy Strong was born to play Cardassian.
Yeah.
I think that Sarah Snook as a Romulan, also great. She's got the face for it, like the wig.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It just fits.
Okay. I see what you're doing. I see what you're up to.
Yeah. Who will I cast next week? It's going to be Cousin Greg as a Ferengi.
I have not seen Succession, so I don't know what any of this means, but yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
And then that one weird actress who just got dropped from her agency, she can play a Cardassian, because that'll just be like it's like, no, like she that's just who she is in real life is and I know her name, and I'm not saying what her name is, because I don't.
No, yeah, you can put the pieces together.
Yeah, you can figure it out if you pay attention to the internet.
Yeah.
Why was she in The Materialists? We'll never know.
Yeah, she. You know, it's funny because she's always in, like, she's in The Materialist, she's in The Beast, and like I never noticed her, and then afterwards, like, that's who that was, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, well, maybe that's the problem. Is like she was never noticed, and that's why she acts the way she acts.
Yeah, are we getting a little psychological here?
Maybe. Moving on.
Okay. I was gonna make a Frasier joke, but you know, we don't have time for that. We're talking about Star Trek, folks.
No Frasier allowed. Even though Kelsey Grammer is a big Star Trek fan.
He is, and he's also has horrible beliefs.
Yeah, and he was Beast in the X-Men films.
He was.
Yeah. And let me see. Do we have anything else? Oh yeah. So apparently some of the sets for this film were older sets from Voyager and DS9 that were repurposed for this film.
Yes, that's true. They wanted to save a couple bucks.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty cool. You know, because they all shot like on the same sound stages. So like they would be like shooting like right next to each other and stuff. So that was pretty cool that they were doing that. And then yeah, that's all I have for my notes. Is there anything else about Insurrection that you wanna talk about? I mean, I have like one other thing I want to say, but is there anything else that you need to like get out there?
Do you like when Riker shaves his beard?
That was weird.
Yeah.
I don't like beardless Riker. It's very jarring seeing it like in the first season when you go back and rewatch it. Yeah, you're just like, holy shit, who is this child running around in this jumpsuit? Like,
yeah.
It's like beardless Riker with like the weird Star Trek uniforms, the weird Federation uniforms that nobody liked.
I love the Deep Space Nine uniforms that they've incorporated for these movies, by the way.
I do too. Yeah, I think that I wasn't, when I was getting ready to watch DS9, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about like the new uniforms and then the new design for the for the badge. But I think I kind of prefer them to the TNG design. Yeah,
they look very like, one thing too is like, it's, you always have to think about this, which is well, that reminded me of a point I was going to make too. I'm glad you said that. Mm-hmm. What I think I always think about is like, you know, how we were talking about with the TOS films, those big winter coats they would basically wear. Where like those are gorgeous to look at, maybe my favorite Star Trek uniforms, but you know, don't put those 50-year-olds in the stuffy costumes where they're sweating their asses off on set. That sounds miserable. But with the Deep Space Nine costumes, outfits, uniforms, I'm just saying all the words for clothes I know, is
the garments.
Yeah, the garments is they look comfortable, and you're like, okay, if you're gonna be wearing this like 23 weeks out of the year filming, mm-hmm. I think that you can be wearing worse stuff for sure. So that's pretty nice, especially when you take into account that like half of the cast of Deep Space Nine has to have makeup on in some capacity. Like, you know, I mean, and some of it's like a lot, like with Quark or Worf, and it's some just a little bit like Kira or, you know, Dax, where like that takes like 2 seconds probably.
I think I saw an interview once where they talked about like painting the designs on like actually did take a while, because I guess they're like all hand painted.
Oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah, but there was like, because there's a couple episodes where like you like see Dax and like she's not in her uniform and she's like has it all the way down like her arms and legs and stuff, and I guess that like took a really long time to do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's really interesting, but like so there is that, which I always think about that with costumes, is you want your actors to be comfortable. Don't, you know, we talked about this in the X-Men episodes, but like with poor Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse, where it's like don't do that to him. And but then with another thing that brought me to was, you know, I was thinking about, you know, how a lot of these cast members, like how Beverly doesn't get anything to do in these movies at all. She gets like maybe 3 lines of movie. Data pushes her into the water in Generations.
Yeah.
And that's like it. So I was having this conversation with somebody like, I don't know, like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. It doesn't matter when this was. I was talking to somebody and this person said some really annoying shit where they were talking about Avengers Endgame. Okay. You know, and I'm not here to talk about the Russo brothers and I'm not even talking about that fucking movie or anything like that. But this person, they're telling me like, oh, you know, Brie Larson is like an asshole because she didn't feel like she had enough to do an Endgame. And it's like, well, she needs to like know her character's place and all this stuff, like blah, blah, blah. Like she needs to understand like, you know, blah, blah, blah. And this person like wasn't even like saying it in a misogynistic way. They were just saying it in like a stupid way. Well, misogyny is stupid. You get what I'm saying. But like it's and it was just like, oh, you know, like she doesn't understand blah, 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 like she wanted more to do, but like it's not her story and all this stuff. It's like, okay, here's the thing, right? When you're writing a comic book and these are not real people, they're drawings, I can understand an argument like that, right? But here's the problem: whenever you're making a movie, TV show, video game, whatever the fuck, and you're hiring these people, and yeah, paychecks are fucking great, whatever, right? These are fucking actors who want to do stuff, and they don't really love it when they show up to set and it's like, well, you have 3 lines, especially when, like Beverly, you are a character who is super expanded upon, has a ton of shit to do in Next Generation. And so then it's like you just show up to set and it's like you have 4 lines of dialogue, no character arc, no even idea of her character other than the Doctor. Like you don't even get an idea of her relationship with Picard or anything like that. So it's like, you know, these are actors who, give them stuff to do, let them help you, give them room to grow. You have a phenomenal cast of actors, let them fucking act. It drives me insane you know, like whenever it's just dumb. It's the same with the Avengers Endgame thing. Brie Larson is an actor who wants to act and do stuff. She just got her own movie. Like that came out a couple months before, where she got to fully expand the character. Show up at Endgame, it's like, oh, you got a haircut. That's dumb. Like, I'm sorry, like from an acting perspective, of course you want to fucking act. Sorry, apparently I'm very passionate about this.
Well, no, I mean, you're right. Like actors want to act, you know, and especially if you're going to be taking like so much time out of your schedule to, you know, be in these films, like you want to have like something to do, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I agree with you that, you know, goes back to like, you know, our previous complaint of like these characters that just kind of don't have a lot to do, you know, whether it be like Geordi or Beverly or Deanna Troi or Worf, who are all just kind of like almost background characters. Like I want to, like, we should do some kind of experiment where we show these movies to people who have never seen Star Trek and just ask them like, hey, what do you think about these characters? Like, do you think that they're important? Like, do you think that they're like, you know, substantial characters? And just see what their opinion is. Cause I feel like it wouldn't reflect the reality of the television series that ran for like 7 years, you know?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
But with Insurrection, do you have any closing thoughts or any ideas? Because I don't really have much more to say about this movie. I just think it's kind of nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to point out that the plot of this film about this like group of villagers who are getting removed by an alien race is very similar to a season 7 episode of TNG.
It is, yeah.
Where you have indigenous people, like people from the Americas, who are on this planet, and they get kicked out by the Cardassians. And there's like this whole thing where the Federation is just kind of like, hey, you know, that's just how it goes. Like, suck it up, bitch. Like, fucking get out of here. And to see like the difference in how like Picard approached that situation in the TV series versus this one. And it's just kind of weird.
It's because he wanted to get laid.
I guess so. Like, is like if the group from season 7, if they had like a hot woman who was talking to Picard, do you think like he would have cared more about them?
Apparently, you know, based on this movie, I would say so. Maybe.
You think so? Yeah, and of course there's also because you know Data is like running around at the beginning, and he's like the one who like reveals you know, the Federation to these villagers. That, I don't know, to me that reminded me of that episode where Data gave radiation poisoning to that one village that one time.
Oh yeah.
I think that was also a season 7 episode, or maybe it was season 6. I don't know.
It's around the end. It's like the last couple seasons for sure.
Yeah, but that's something that kind of becomes an issue for me, is these TNG films, especially these last 2, that are just like recycling plots from the show. Yeah, and it does kind of feel like they're running out of ideas, maybe.
Yeah, it feels like they're running out of ideas, and it's just like. And it's also it's this thing too where it's like, get some like fresh eyes on this, because it's a lot of the same names from like the last couple movies from the TV series.
Well, on the next film we have some fresh eyes, and that didn't really do much.
I take back what I said.
Okay, but no, I mean, I think you have a point, and I think that, I mean, obviously, like I think the idea of having someone on this who doesn't have a history with the show could have helped, but also just like, you know, having somebody who just having like good ideas, I guess. Like it like there has to be both. It has to be like you're coming from with a fresh point of view, and you have good ideas for what is to be done.
Yeah. No, exactly. But so do you think we're ready to move on to Nemesis?
I feel like it's finally time, Caleb. It's finally time that we face our nemesis.
Yeah, so we have Star Trek Nemesis, which was directed by Stuart Baird, written by John Logan, story by Rick Berman and Brent Spiner, based on Star Trek, created by Gene Roddenberry, cinematography by Jeffrey L. Kimball, edited by Dallas Pewitt, and starring Patrick Stewart, Jonathan Frakes, Brent Spiner, LeVar Burton, Michael Dorn, Gates McFadden, Marina Sirtis, Tom Hardy, Ron Perlman, Shannon Cochran, Dina Mayer, Jude Cecilia, Alan Dale, Kate Mulgrew, Will Wheaton, Majel Barrett, Stuart Baird, and Whoopi Goldberg. And the synopsis is Picard's clone wants to do bad stuff, including maybe doing a fuck on him.
Maybe doing a fuck on him?
Yeah.
How exactly do you do a fuck?
I mean, like, you know, this is a video podcast now, so I could show, but I'd rather tell.
Really quickly, Dina Meyer, who's in this film, who plays Donatra, one of the Romulans. She was in another film I saw this past week, Starship Troopers.
Oh yeah, she is.
Yes. Have you seen Starship Troopers, Caleb?
No, I don't. But I don't. For some reason, I do know that Dina Meyer is in that.
Is it because you looked up her scenes, Caleb, when you were younger?
No.
When you were a teenager, did you look up Dina Meyer Starship Troopers on certain websites?
No, I didn't.
No. You were busy watching wrestling instead.
Yeah, I was busy watching wrestling and looking up photos of Mickey James. So anyway, that's not the point. Anyway, let's might edit that out. Who knows? Maybe we'll leave it in.
It's kind of a thing. But yeah, this past week I watched Starship Troopers. I haven't seen it in years, and great movie, fantastic film. I'd love to talk about it on here sometime.
Yeah,
but
cool.
It was kind of depressing though thinking about it, because it's like, damn, we really are headed in the future of Starship Troopers and not Star Trek.
Yeah,
which is really sad.
Yeah, no, I know.
Anyways, to lighten the mood, let's talk about Nemesis.
This movie is so. This is the thing that's so weird. Is like even before I got into Star Trek, I was like very aware of how panned this movie was. How much people who love Star Trek like hate this. Right. I hate this. I think this movie sucks. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I normally try to be nice and like, you know, normally movies are just goofy. This is bad. This is a bad fucking film. This is like the worst movie we've talked about since like Dark Phoenix. It's like, this sucks. I hate this.
Well, and that is a wrap on the episode. We hate this, so thank you. Well, come back next week when we talk about a different film. Yeah, it's wild because I looked it up. Right, I my first time watching this film, but this movie was the screenplay was written by John Logan. Do you know what this guy's done?
No, I actually don't.
So John Logan, first of all, was a huge Star Trek fan, and that was like one of the reasons he got hired was because he was like a really big Star Trek fan. And there's like, he said that he showed Brent Spiner pictures of himself dressed as Captain Kirk for Halloween when he was a kid. Oh. So prior to this film, John Logan had written a couple of films. He wrote Any Given Sunday.
Oh, okay.
And he also wrote Gladiator, the first Gladiator film.
That won Best Picture.
Yes. And then he did Star Trek Nemesis, which we're talking about currently, and neither of us particularly care for it. But he would then go on to write The Last Samurai, which very well received when it came out. Kind of problematic now, but
yeah, it is a good movie.
It is. It's well written.
Yes,
with a huge asterisk.
Yes, yeah.
He also worked on a movie that we've talked about already in the past called The Aviator.
What the fuck?
Yes, he wrote The Aviator, the Martin Scorsese picture. He also wrote Rango, which I feel like is a super underrated animated film. I love that movie.
Holy shit.
And he wrote Hugo, which is another Scorsese picture.
Yeah.
He was also involved briefly with the Steven Spielberg Lincoln film, but I guess that he ended up not being... He's not credited on the film, so I don't think that he wrote the final screenplay, but he was involved with that. And then he would also go on to write Skyfall and Spectre, and most recently, he wrote the film They Them in 2022.
So, well, that one is very bad. Like, yeah. They Slash Them?
They Slash Them, yes.
The horror movie, that is unfortunately a well-intentioned but very not good movie.
Yeah, that was his most recent one. But like, okay. Overall, like, this is a pretty decent like set of credits. I mean, he also worked on Penny Dreadful. He was the creator of that show.
He is, isn't he? Oh my god, that's the same John. Fuck me.
That's the same. I didn't even put that same together. John Logan, man.
Wow, with my buddy Josh Hartnett.
Yeah, your buddy.
Yeah, they got Billy Piper on that show.
Yes, they do. I still haven't seen it, but
it's very good.
So that guy wrote this film. So clearly something happened. Was there a gas leak?
This is the gas leak season. It's they should do it. I was gonna say they should do a Dan Harmon Star Trek movie. That's just Rick and Morty. So there's no. I
don't want Dan Harmon to write a Star Trek. I'm sorry.
I don't either. Okay, can I give? I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting to bring this up. Can I tell you a thing on Community that bothers the fuck out of me? Is related to Star Trek?
Okay, what is it?
So there is an episode where Donald Glover, Troy, spoilers for Community, he leaves the show because he wanted to go do other stuff because the show kept getting canceled. And so there's an episode where he gets on a boat and he's going to go travel the world, and LeVar Burton is there. Mm-hmm. And he's talking to him and he says, "Why isn't the show called Planet Trek? You never go to a star, not a single episode." Not fucking true. I seem to remember my friend James Doohan being in an episode having to do with a star.
Right. Yeah. He was stuck in a pattern buffer, but his ship had like crashed on a Dyson sphere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I always kind of interpreted the title as like a trek amongst the stars. You know?
No, yeah, same. Yeah.
The same thing with like Star Wars, where it's like a war amongst the stars, right?
Yeah.
So,
or it's like Starship Troopers, where it's ship troopers amongst the stars.
Yes, the troopers are on a ship and they're amongst the stars. Anyways, we are talking about literally anything else other than Nemesis.
I despise this movie. Like genuinely, like this is like up there as far as like because I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh my god, like this movie sucked, that means that, you know, it ruins everything else for me. That's not true. The episodes of TNG that I love still exist.
Right. Yeah, I can always go back and rewatch Sub Rosa anytime I want. Like,
yeah, exactly. Which Sub Rosa is better than this. I just want to put that out there also.
Sub Rosa is significantly better than this. This film does not have a crazy Irishman who drips parts out of the ship. Okay, so
one of the best scenes in all of Star Trek.
I love it. I love that scene so goddamn much.
Yeah.
Okay, so Star Trek Nemesis starts off with a wedding.
It was
Riker,
a teenage wedding. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Were you going to start singing for us?
Yeah. You know, we'll save that for next week.
All right. Next week, Caleb will do his musical number. Star Trek Nemesis starts off with a wedding. Deanna Troi and Riker finally get married. How do we feel about this relationship? Like this kind of like the will they won't they in the TV series that kind of got forgotten about, and now they're getting married. Like what do we feel about that?
I mean, I feel like the reason this got set up was because Jonathan Frakes directed the last one, so he kind of set this up. That's what it feels like. And because I know that like Marina Sirtis and Jonathan Frakes get along super well, and they're a big fan of that couple.
Right.
So, you know, like that makes sense.
It's certainly better than the Troy Worf romance.
Yeah, like Worf should be dating Jason Segel's mom from How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. When was that?
That's who that was. Yeah, remember like when he has sex with that one Klingon woman, and that's who that actress is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why am I blanking on her name? I think it's Susie Plaxon or Susie. Yeah, Kalar, my girl Kalar. I love Kalar. Yeah. I didn't know that the actress who played her played Jason Segel's mom on How I Met Your Mother.
And it's crazy because when I found out that's who that was, I was like, of course, that's who should play a Klingon. She's like insanely tall.
A very tall, beautiful woman.
Yes, yeah, she is.
This is gonna bug the shit out of me. I'm pretty sure her name is Susie Plaxon or Susie Plixon.
It's not Plinkett.
Yeah, Susie Plaxon. Yeah. I was correct. And now I have. Then now there's a picture of her on my computer. All right. Well, I'll exit out of there. Okay. So yes. So we're at the wedding.
Yeah.
And there's a few familiar faces in the crowd. We see Guinan. Whoopi Goldberg is Guinan finally, and I was really excited. I was like, "Oh boy, Guinan's going to be in this movie," and then she's not.
Does she have dialogue?
Does she? I don't recall.
I don't think so. I think she just kind of like is there. It's really interesting because Whoopi Goldberg is uncredited in both of her appearances in these films, and I think that's intentional. Like, I think she wanted it that way, but. Yeah,
that is interesting. I wonder what the reasoning behind that was. But yeah, like Guinan is another character that I think like would have been really interesting to see in these films. I did see somewhere, it might have been on Reddit or it might have been on Twitter, where someone pointed out that like Guinan is a better counselor than Troy.
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So Guinan shows up for 1 second. We also very briefly see Little Crusher. Wesley, yes. I wanted to call him William Crusher. I don't know why, but no, Wesley Crusher. Wesley Crusher is here and does nothing again.
Yeah, because they cut his scene, so he's just kind of sitting at the end of the table. It's like, aren't you like an entity now?
Yeah, isn't he like traveling across the universe with that weird alien?
Yeah.
Like what is he doing here? Yeah, I remember years ago seeing his scene from Nemesis, like someone posted it on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
So I just assumed it was in the movie because I had never seen this film before this past week. And I was really surprised to see that like, no, it's not in the movie actually. Like his scene is completely edited out.
Yeah, and it's the whole wedding scene is really weird in general because you also have like the joke where like Worf is drunk, and that's the whole joke.
Yeah, because he's drinking too much Romulan ale.
Yeah, and then you have like, I thought Picard's speech was really weird and out of character. And then it's just Data gets to sing a song.
Yeah, which like, I guess was that Brent Spiner's idea? Maybe.
Probably. I mean, it's a story by him, so I'm going to assume anything Data does was his idea.
Okay.
Including flying through space.
Someone who was supposed to be at this wedding but was not because there were scheduling conflicts was Leia Brahms.
Oh yeah,
Dr. Leia Brahms was supposed to be at the wedding and was supposed to be Geordi's date. How do we feel about that? How do we feel about this like romance between Leia and Geordi that never happened in the show, but apparently is like canonically a thing, right? That they end up together.
It's kind of strange because like, yeah, because even in spoilers for the future, I don't even think this gets mentioned in Picard. So
it's not?
I don't think so. It's been a couple years.
Okay.
And there's a lot of that show I don't remember.
Yeah, I still have not seen Picard yet.
I'm making it sound like I was drunk while I was watching it. I was not.
You may have been.
Maybe one episode.
I was drinking a glass of wine for like the last 20 minutes of this movie. I went and I grabbed a glass of Syrah and I did a heavy pour.
Oh,
and
stunning.
I was just like chugging Syrah while watching Picard, while watching Patrick Stewart impale Tom Hardy.
On what?
Oh.
But real quick, sorry, just turn into Viva wine for a second. What like, so with the Syrah, do you chill your Syrah or do you just open it up and go to town on that bad boy?
I just open up, go to town on that bad boy. I'm raw dogging the Syrah.
Yeah, see, it's interesting because me and my girlfriend very into wine as well, and like, and me and you talk about wine a lot. But it's that we always like chill a bottle of Syrah. It's like the one red I'll chill. I don't believe in a chilled red normally.
Okay.
Unless it's in like a sangria, but like a chilled Syrah, I absolutely adore. I will say.
I'll have to try that sometime then.
Yeah. But it's funny. I was gonna drink while watching these last night, but the problem is, Anthony, I'm just gonna be I was gonna tell this story on the podcast. I was hungover yesterday.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I had to go to work hungover and have a shitty shift and then watch these fucking movies.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. No, so here's the thing. So I was out on the town on Friday night, and I'm chilling. Go to a couple places. I had this lovely blueberry cider.
Ooh.
At Gnarly Girl Pizza, which is a fucking great pizza spot in Hillcrest. Like, go check it out if you're in the San Diego area. And then went over to Quixote, which is always a great bar. Had myself a Oaxacan old fashioned. Lovely stuff. Walking around. Go over to one of my favorite bars. I'm not even going to say the name of it just because like I don't want to run into people. I just want to hang out. It's funny because like I know people who go there all the time. But I go here and I'm having a good time. I get an old fashioned, And, you know, last call happens, and buddy, I had a couple more than I was expecting. And then after I paid my check, the power went out in the entire block. So I'm just in this bar and the power is out. And I go, and it's one of those where, you know, I get home and it's one of those where like it doesn't hit you while you're at the bar. I get home, I'm like, I am drunk. Oh no. And I'm not really drunk that often anymore. So I go, I take a liquid IV, I eat a bunch of chips. I'm like, okay, I got work in 6 hours. I'll be fine. I wake up and I'm like, fuck. I'm 27 years old. I'm too old for this now. Like I'm becoming an old man because I'm like, oh my God. And so yeah, then I went to work and thankfully work was great and everything didn't go wrong immediately.
Well, you know, I feel like your late 20s is like when you need to stop. You know, it's like you need to like start getting your shit together, man.
No, yeah, because I really only get drunk like maybe 2 or 3 times a year now. As you know, like 8 years ago or whenever the fuck that was, I used to like once a week thing, and that was not sustainable. Don't do that. Have a healthy relationship with alcohol. You know your limits. Don't drink 3 old fashions in 45 minutes.
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh, it's Star Trek Nemesis. Is that what we're talking about?
We were, yes. I was talking about how I don't like them forcing a Leia Brahms Geordi relationship because Geordi was a creep towards her.
Yeah, no, yeah, that is also true. That whole element of Geordi, I think that was a very bad element of the series.
It was, yeah, and it's weird that the writers of Star Trek keep trying to like. Because like we learn in the follow-up episode when like the real Leia Brahms shows up that she's married, she has a partner already.
Yeah. And
this idea that she's going to leave her husband for a guy who made like a holographic duplicate of her and fell in love, that's just weird. Like I feel like if you write that, it's because you've never like met a woman before. You know,
no,
like,
exactly.
Women don't think that's hot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know they do not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's just...
I don't like that. That they kept trying to push it. Luckily, that didn't happen in this movie because of scheduling conflicts, and I think it's better for it. So.
Yeah. Exactly, and you know, but it's also a shame because like you know this would have been a great place to have cameos from like O'Brien, for example.
Where's my dude O'Brien and his lovely wife Keiko, who everyone loves.
Yeah, and you could throw in some really fun games. Like maybe what about fucking Tom Riker?
Tom Riker shows up.
No, it was funny because like, dude, when I was watching that episode of Deep Space Nine where he shows up, I was like, fuck yeah, Jonathan Frakes, my buddy. And then I was like, I fucking straight up forgot about Tom Riker. I completely had erased that episode from my memory apparently. And I was like,
Did you not like that episode?
I just forgot about it.
You just forgot.
Like it wasn't even a thing where it was a conscious decision. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, like that episode where there's another Riker.
There's 2 Rikers out there right now.
Yeah, and also this is a side note. If there were 2 Rikers, they would kiss and have sex with each other.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
they would because Riker is supposed to be bisexual. I just wanted to throw that out there, and that's not even just me saying that. I know Jonathan Frakes believes this.
Yeah, it is a thing that like Riker is supposed to be bisexual, and there was that episode where like they meet the alien race of like non-binary aliens.
Yeah,
that originally the actor that Riker like falls in love with, that actor was supposed to be a male actor, but then the producers made them cast a woman instead because they were cowards. So the Romulans made a clone of Picard for some reason.
Sorry.
And then that clone grew up and decided that he hates Picard and he wants to kill him now.
Who plays Picard's clone?
It is played by a young Tom Hardy.
So this is the thing I've noticed. Is first of all, Tom Hardy is a wonderful actor. Like we love Tom Hardy on the spot. I think do you love Tom Hardy?
I like Tom Hardy. Yeah. Have you seen Bronson?
No, I haven't. But
Great
that's
film.
funny you mentioned that because so this film, Star Trek Nemesis, Tom Hardy, this is like his first huge role. Mm-hmm. This movie's divisive or negative critical reception made him really depressed, and it made him uncertain about his career until he did Bronson. That was when he was like, okay, I'm back.
I mean, it's a great movie. Bronson is a fantastic film, way better than this movie.
Yeah, and another thing that's really funny with Tom Hardy in this movie is, so as we all know, Tom Hardy ended up later in his career, and probably his most famous role, plays Bane in The Dark Knight Rises.
I was gonna ask you about this.
But here's the thing, right? So like him playing Bane is like one of the most iconic film villains of all time. Like people still talk about it, still quote it. I'm not doing the voice because this is Viva Film, not shot on film. Okay,
you have to do the voice, Caleb. You have to do the voice.
That's actually really good.
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite voices to do.
Yeah. And like, so you have that, right? And 10 years before The Dark Knight Rises, you have Tom Hardy playing a bald man who grew up in this very harsh environment where he rises and he didn't see the sunlight for years. And by the time he saw it, it was blinding. And he comes and he wants revenge. He's doing a bunch of shit. So it's like he has the same origin as Bane.
Pretty much,
basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I expected him to come out and be like, Picard, I was a man before I saw the light, Picard. I was born and it's molded by it.
Yeah, and it's also funny seeing Tom Hardy, because Tom Hardy is known for being like ripped as fuck, right? Like huge tank. He's a twink here, and that's so fascinating to me. He's just a little guy.
He's just a little twink in like some S&M gear with his boyfriend.
Yeah, with his boyfriend Ron Perlman.
What a couple that must be.
Yeah, and as I know, I love Ron Perlman. I fucking love that he was in a Star Trek movie wearing like crazy prosthetics and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Love the looks for the Remans, by the way.
They do have like a really cool look to them. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't love that they gave him psychic sexual assault powers.
Yeah, which is another thing. Is so Deanna Troi is assaulted psychically by Tom Hardy and his boyfriend.
Yeah.
And like kind of going back to that topic of recycling plots, like this happened in a TNG episode. Is that she's assaulted by a psychic. I forget which episode that was. But you know the episode I'm thinking of. Yeah. It's one of the really bad Deanna Troi episodes because they always gave her like the worst fucking episodes. And yeah, it's just weird that they decided to go back to like such a controversial like thing of like, hey, let's have a scene where Deanna Troi is like having sex with Riker and then is like, you know, has like her personal, you know, space is she's violated. Yeah, it's fucking weird, and I don't like it, and it's weird that they wrote it, and it makes me uncomfortable.
What's even what's also really bad is afterwards she's, you know, telling Picard about this. She's like, you know, I can't do this. I have to leave this mission. And Picard's like, Deanna, if you can handle these assaults for just a few more times, we can really solve this problem. And it's like, what the fuck, Picard? Who the fuck talks like that and says shit like that?
Which is, yeah, and this like is another example of these characters just like feeling totally out of character. Yeah. Like I don't feel like Picard would do that. Like at least the Picard from the TNG era, like the TNG shows would do that. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, so this is also a thing with Picard in this movie. So I kind of said, we talked about how like in Generations he's trying as hard as he can. Right. In First Contact, I think he's starting to not be as into this a little bit. Okay. And mostly because his character's written badly. And then in Insurrection, definitely losing some stuff there. Like, okay, not really good. In this movie, his performance is fucking baffling. And this is the thing. Patrick Stewart is one of the greatest actors of all time. I would never fucking say Patrick Stewart is a bad actor. And I think he would probably agree with me that there's some issues with this film. Like, I love the guy. I think he's great. One of my all-time favorite actors. Right around this time, he did that episode of Frasier. Incredible episode of Frasier. One of the best.
Yeah, I think this was like this was right after X-Men as well.
Exactly what I'm getting to. Patrick Stewart's performance in this movie is bad because he's playing Professor X. He's not playing Picard. Straight up, there are moments where he's doing like this weird Professor X delivery where he's like, "Oh, you know, Data, I'm here for you." You know, and there's not that Picard like, there's not that like edge and like grit to him and like that grandiosity. Like Picard is such a specific character and a specific performance, And he kind of ditches that to do this more Professor X type thing. And I think that's, which as a side note, that like, does his portrayal of Professor X line up with the comics? Not really, but he is very good as Professor X. I like him in those movies, obviously, but like he's doing Professor X mode here where he's like, oh, the nice British dad, right. And it's like, he's not coming across as like this, kind of like Shakespearean gritty man who kind of views himself as very like noble and very very diplomatic. Like you don't get that vibe even when he's doing diplomacy in this movie. It's very frustrating. And on top of that, so there are some continuity errors in this movie, and I don't normally care about this stuff, but it's funny as fuck. So we have seen what Picard looked like when he was in the academy and when he was younger. Yeah,
there was that episode where he, Tapestry, where him and Q go back in time. Yeah.
And the thing is, and there's a moment where Tom Hardy, Shinzon says to him, Picard, I bet you recognize this face, but but it's a little different than you remember because I've been beaten so badly and had plastic, corrective surgery and all this stuff. And first of all, it was really nice of the Romulans to do corrective surgery on him after horrifically hurting him, I guess, while he was being tormented down there. But also, as a side note, that's like, okay, that's an explanation for why he doesn't look like Tom Hardy when we see him when he's younger. But then there is a scene where Picard is looking at a photo from his academy days where it is Tom Hardy, young and bald. And he shows it to Beverly. He's like, oh, don't you remember him? And it's like,
no, I don't.
Yeah. And like, was Picard, are we retconning that he was born bald?
Like even in that episode where like they get reverted back to like children, Picard has hair, It
would have been so funny if he didn't, though.
If he was just like a bald 10-year-old running around the ship.
Yeah. But it's so strange. And like, it's also this thing where like, he doesn't have to be bald to be a clone of Picard.
No, he doesn't. And I think like, I don't know, because there's this issue with like executives think that people are just dumb.
Yeah.
They think people are stupid. So there was probably some executive somewhere that was like, well, Patrick Stewart is bald. So if we have a young Patrick Stewart, he also has to be bald because that's how that works. And they didn't expect that like audiences would accept the fact that like a young version of Picard would just have hair. Even though that they have already in the TV show.
Yeah, it's also funny because like he doesn't even need to be a clone of Picard. Like that doesn't even really matter overall to the plot. Like, and they try to do this weird like double thing where you have like Picard and Shinzon, and then you have Data and B4. We haven't even talked about the subplot that there's like there's an early version of Data that Dr. Sung made that is on this planet that Tom Hardy is using for dastardly means.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that plot sucks. I hate that.
And it's another it's another recycled plot because it's like recycling the whole thing with lore. And then also yeah, it's crazy. And then also like finding pieces of Data that was in that one 2-parter with Guinan and with Mark Twain, where they go back in time.
Oh my God!
They find Data's head in the mine shaft. So it's like, again, we're recycling stuff here, guys. Like, show me something new. Give me something new. If I wanted to watch the TV show, I would just do that, which I would much prefer to do rather than watch this film.
Okay, but what if you got some bad color grading in some dune buggies?
That scene was so offensive to me. When I was watching it on my TV, I was like, this scene looks disgusting. It's a really ugly scene, the scene with the dune buggies.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so like, I know that like we're getting kind of nitpicky here, but like, okay, so Picard and Worf and Data, they're dune buggying around because, John Logan said that like the Federation would have like vehicles for whatever reason. That was like his thing. He wanted them to have vehicles. So they're on this planet and they're about to get attacked by all these people who show up who also have dune buggies. And it's like, Caleb, if you were a captain on an alien ship and you were about to be you were surrounded, flanked on all sides by a bunch of aliens, what's the first thing you would do if you were a captain in the Federation?
Transport away.
Exactly. Like, as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, Picard, just like tap on your comm badge and be like, hey, Enterprise 3 to beam up, lock on our location. Yeah, but instead they have a dune buggy chase through the fucking desert, where then they fly the dune buggy into the back of their little runabout, and it's just like so mind-numbingly boring.
Yeah, and it's really crazy because it's like, again, it's one of those that really doesn't feel like Star Trek, where it's like you got them doing this, that they find the data head and it's B4, and then these other guys on dune buggies with fucking machine guns show up and start shooting at them, and then Picard's like, gotta run, and it's like, oh my god, I hate this. And then also you have this awful joke where, because we haven't really gone into how horribly Data has been written in the last two movies, but he sucks now. It's unfortunate. Like, in the last movie they go, oh, I'm a flotation device, and he's like, and they have him like, repeat Deanna Troi talking about her boobs getting firm because they're on the planet of youth, and then Data says that to Worf, which, like, okay. And then in this movie, like, there's this moment where Data's like, I really never will understand humans' capacity to want to drive so fast, and it's just like, all right, I fucking get it. Stop writing Data. They should have fucking killed him off in the last one, because I would rather him be not here than to see a character I love be written like this.
Then we wouldn't have gotten B4.
Yeah, I don't want
everyone's
B4.
Everyone's favorite, B4.
B4 is, what a weird, like, double thing where it's like, oh, Brent Spiner doesn't want to be in these anymore, but let's make it to where he can still stay even though we killed Data. It's like, what is this?
Yeah. Shit, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Yeah, the way Data is written in these films is really strange, and I mentioned this in our previous episode. Just like how it feels like Data's character is just kind of like regressing to like this is a Data you would have seen like in season 2 or 3 of TNG.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with them.
Not the Data that we see at the end of season 7, and it's really frustrating. It kind of adds to that frustration of like the mischaracterizations of these characters in these films.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Like, I don't know. And also, as a side note, I'm trying to think, are the Remans, have they ever been mentioned before?
No, I think this was their first appearance, and I don't know if they've been mentioned since. I don't know if they showed up like in Picard or Discovery or anything like that.
Is Eric Bana's character in Star Trek 2009? Is he a Romulan?
He's supposed to be Romulan, yeah.
He doesn't have the wig.
No, he doesn't have the wig. No, they I mean, the characterization of the Romulans in that movie is weird, as the characterization of a lot of stuff in that movie's weird. We'll get to it. Yeah,
but yeah, so I don't know. This movie is just like, it's a slog. I know you put that on Letterboxd. It's a fucking slog.
Yeah.
I hate this film. I think it has. It feels like it's this really weird version of a blockbuster where it's like it feels embarrassed to be Star Trek for sure. Like, that's what these movies have been progressively getting to. But it also just, like, it doesn't have anything to do. Like, no one has an arc. No one changes. No one does anything. There's even like Picard, like with this whole clone thing, like they don't really delve into that, because the big thing with Picard is always like, they have that episode in, I think, season 7 where it's like, oh, is this my son?
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, and how is him having a clone? They don't ever really go into the whole thing with like him not having kids, which is a huge element of his character. Mm-hmm. And then also you can like tie it back because narratively it feels similar to what fucking goddamn Captain Kirk was doing in Wrath of Khan. It's like you have these great kind of like arcs that can kind of intersect and intertwine, and you can do these like callbacks and like and see how characters would do things differently. But no, we just get a bad action movie that looks terrible.
Yeah, I totally agree with you that we are kind of getting to that point of being embarrassed to be a Star Trek movie.
Yeah,
and like I will do something that you'll never hear me do again, which is I'm going to defend J.J. Abrams. Because one of the many criticisms that people have of like the Kelvin timeline films is that they kind of they dumb down Star Trek. You know, they make Star Trek like very accessible to like, you know, regular people, I guess. Yeah. Like non-nerds. And I understand that there's like a business decision behind that, whatever. But like that's one of the criticisms that gets thrown at JJ is that like he dumbed down Star Trek and he made it into like this like schlocky action packed, you know, spectacle. But I feel like that really started with the TNG movies. Like that's where that began, was this like dumbing down of TNG and making it into this like action spectacle. I mean, I was just thinking like some of my favorite episodes of TNG are episodes where people are just sitting around and debating like philosophical quandaries. I mean, I was thinking recently about the episode Drumhead, which is basically a courtroom drama, right? Yeah. And like that episode is phenomenal. It's fucking amazing. And then you get to these movies and it's like Picard in a sleeveless shirt climbing up, you know, scaffolding and blowing people up, or like, you know, laser gun fights in like alien corridors that are like underlit.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's funny because like, you know, as much as we were talking about how, man, it would have been cool if like we got like a Deep Space Nine and Voyager movie, I think like here's the thing, right? We imagine, we're like, oh man, can you imagine, you know, Deep Space Nine movie that's good, that deals with like a lot of themes. But then I'm thinking about it and I'm like, what if we got a Deep Space Nine movie and it was just like Cisco in like a sleeveless shirt, like running around, like jumping off of ladders and like, you know, like breaking Romulans' necks and like, or I meant to say Cardassians, but you know, whatever. And then you have like Odo with like a machine gun in a corridor with like some Cardassians on all sides, and then and he says like a dumb one-liner like, "Oh, why don't you shapeshift this?" and then shoots them. Okay, that sounds cool. I kind of like that.
Well, I think the thing with DS9 is that if that did happen, I do feel like DS9 is a little more action oriented, a little bit. Like, I think there are some more like action kind of scenes in there. So I don't know if it would have been like super out of place, but I think they would have, because like DS9 is very political. It's a very political show.
What?
And yeah, I know they made Star Trek political. Star Trek is woke now, Caleb. I feel like if they were to make a DS9 movie, they would just like remove a lot of like the political aspects of the show in favor of like just more action, you know, even though there's already a lot of action in DS9. So
what if they gave Quark a gun?
What if they gave Quark a gun?
Yeah,
that would be incredible. What if they gave, like, I want to see Quark and Rom like in a gunfight
against each other?
Maybe. They're just shooting each other in Quark's bar and they just keep missing.
Oh, fuck, why can't we write this movie? There's still time.
There's yes, there might be. Yeah. Okay, Caleb. I have a quick fan theory here.
Oh,
that may explain why these movies don't make any sense. So in these films, we see how Picard kind of becomes this like action hero who's like saving the day and blowing people up and driving dune buggies, and he's got sleeveless shirts on, he's showing off his muscles, while everyone else around him just kind of does nothing.
Yeah.
So here's my fan theory, Caleb. Here's what I think. I think that the TNG films, I don't think that they are real. I don't think that they actually happened.
Yeah.
I think that this is fan fiction that Jean-Luc Picard is writing about himself. The crew of the Enterprise are on the bridge and they're doing their thing. They're flying around the stars, a trek amongst the stars. He's in his ready room and he's writing these stories down about how cool it would be to be an action hero.
Not even the holodeck. He's in his ready room just writing these. Like it's what he's doing every time he says "Cobb." Like,
yeah, he's in the middle of writing the next chapter in his like Picard is a badass series.
Yeah, well, it's also like it's because like if like let's say Worf does something he doesn't like too much, he's like, oh well, Worf gets a big pimple this time.
Yeah, Worf turns into a whiny little bitch boy who cries about having long hair.
Yeah. Or like he's like, Riker, he's not so handsome without that beard, are we? Like, it's just, I love that. I think that works really well. Like, the Borg. Well, what if the Borg were actually ran by a sexy woman who wanted to fuck me? You know?
It's like, which is weird because like in the show, like there's plenty of sexy women who want to fuck Picard. Like there's that one
Vash.
Yeah, Vash. Yeah. Like she wants some of that Picard.
Famke Janssen.
Yeah, Famke Janssen. So clearly, women are into Picard. But I don't think it's a sex thing. I think he just wants to be. He just wants to be like an action hero.
Yeah, he wants to be on like the cover of like old like cereal books. You get what I'm fucking trying to say, right? Sometimes I don't talk too good. I mean, like like those like old romance novels where like it's like you'd have Picard and he'd have like this huge chest and this like ripped open shirt. Yeah,
the huge chest that Ricardo Montalban had in Khan.
Exactly, and it could be called like the captain's log, and it's like a metaphor.
Ooh, that's just my captain's log.
Yeah, that was Sean Connery, but I like where your head was at.
Whatever, dude. I don't fucking care anymore. Is there anything else we wanna say about these films, about Nemesis, particularly?
I mean, it's impressive that this killed the franchise a little bit, because like you only had Enterprise after this for like a couple years, and then that got canceled, and then it was kind of directionless until we got the Kelvin timeline, and then they started doing the current the modern era of Star Trek TV that we've had for about 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that like Nemesis killed the Star Trek franchise, or do you think it was kind of like a death rattle? Because it did, because like at this point DS9 and Voyager are over.
Yeah.
And like Enterprise is on, and Enterprise is not getting like very good reviews, kind of forgettable TV show. I haven't seen it yet. I know it has its fans.
I mean, you got Scott Bakula.
Yeah, Scott Bakula's in it. He's cool. I mean, I feel like it would have run out of steam at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, like it's one of those where like, and this is the problem I think ultimately with Star Trek is like, even though, and this is weird because I love the TOS movies. I mean, not the God one, but like I like the TOS movies a lot. And the Next Generation movies, I don't like. I think First Contact is barely acceptable. It's fine, and the rest of them I don't care for. And the Kelvin timeline, you'll hear my opinions next week. So no spoilers.
No spoilers, not yet. We do have one episode that we're doing before the Kelvin timeline, though.
Oh my god, I forgot we were doing that.
Yeah, we're doing a quick detour. And if our listeners might have an idea of what movie we're going to talk about that technically is not a Star Trek film, but is still very related to this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. I forgot we were doing that.
Well, good thing I'm reminding you.
Thank you, because I would have been watching Star Trek 2009, Star Trek the 2013, and then Star Trek 2016. So it's like I would have been like, I don't know what that joke is I just did.
I don't know either, but we're here for it, Caleb. We're here for it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about this movie next week. I love this movie.
I love it too. It's fantastic. Some say it's the best Star Trek movie.
Yeah, and
I feel like it would be top 5.
Yeah.
I do want to make a quick mention. So at one point in the film, Tom Hardy's character starts to kind of like degrade, and he's like getting sick, right? Because he needs Picard's blood to like live or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like talking to the Romulans, and one of the Romulans, I forget who, it might have been the woman from Starship Troopers. She says like, "What happened to your face?" And Caleb, when I tell you that my hand went up immediately, like the Leo DiCaprio meme.
Yeah.
And I shouted at the top of my lungs in my living room. I said, "What's wrong with your face?"
Yeah, no, exactly.
And there we go, folks. I think that's a great way to end it there with Caleb laughing so hard that his mic cut out.
Oh, she did it?
It did. Yeah, it's fine. Any last thoughts, Caleb, before we finally bring this to an end, before we finally kill this episode, just like this film killed the franchise?
Do you like that Tom Hardy was full of deadly gas?
Hey, that's how I feel after I eat some homemade beans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. This is a bad movie. I don't like these TNG movies. They make me sad. It just makes me want to watch the good TNG stuff.
I mean, this morning, I finished watching these films yesterday, and this morning, as I was like getting ready, I just put on some DS9, and I was like, wow, this is what good Star Trek feels like.
Yeah, this is also just these are good stories, good characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait to get into what a fun series this has been. I mean, not always to watch, but like this I've been really enjoying doing the Star Trek stuff.
I do too. Yeah. I mean, Star Trek is a lot of fun to talk about. And I love Star Trek, even though the last 2 episodes have been a little negative on the negative side. I still love Star Trek, and I'm a Star Trek fan. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I am too. We love a Star Trek out here, folks. We
love a good Star Trek.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Well, with that being said, Caleb, we'll see you all next time on the Viva Film podcast. My name, it's Anthony.
And my name is Caleb.
And never give up, never surrender. We'll see you next time.